Hey everyone, welcome back to the series where I stitch a square out of the Granny Square Stitches card deck every week for the entire year. We are up to week number 7. It is the Houndstooth Stitch, and this one is made up of a combination between single crochet and double crochet, and because you get that alternating height, you get this zigzaggy pattern with your stitches. So if we flip the card over, if you look in the yellow sidebar, this is where you get your pattern repeat number, and this just is basically any odd number of chains. So if you want to make your piece bigger or smaller, you just need to chain an odd number of chains. And then to work the square as shown, we are going to make a chain of 15 and then follow the chart. And the chart is basically color A, color B, color A, color B, color C. And then we're going to kind of reverse repeat that and go color B, color A, color B, color A. I may or may not have already worked this up and realized it was too big because I had thought that 15 was going to be too few chains, and I added 2 chains. People make mistakes. This is why we frog. And I just thought I would share that with you so that when you see me working with little bits of yarn, that's why. I already have them pre-cut. Just put it that way. Okay, so let's get started with our chain. I'm going to start with my yellow, and how I like to make a chain is I have the tail of my yarn in my palm and I just kind of hold it with my thumb, and then I'm gonna take my working end and wrap it around my fingers, and as I come around again as if to wrap it over again, I'm actually going to stop and I'm going to tuck it under that strand that's over my fingers, creating a loop. I'm going to hold on to that loop, pull my fingers out, and pull the short tail that's still kind of, I've got that with my thumb, until it tightens. Easy peasy. Put it on my hook and tighten. So now I am going to make a chain of 15. To make a chain, you're going to yarn over, which means the yarn goes over your hook, and you're going to use a little hooky end of your hook to pull that yarn through the loop that was on your hook. And then you're going to repeat that. Yarn over, pull that yarn through the loop that's on your hook. I'm always shifting my hands up so that I can hold the chain right beneath the hook. That gives it stability. That gives me the ability to sort of pull down a little bit on that loop that's on my hook, just to give myself some space to pull my hook through. If I were to have a bunch of chains and my fingers are still way down here, whoopsies, split my yarn, let's try that again. And my fingers are way down here and I'm pulling, suddenly my chains get really tight. So we don't want that. Okay, so I'm just gonna actually pull one more back. So just keep them loose. You need to be able to work into them. Okay, so you need 15 of those. Okay, so I have 15. I like to work into my back bumps. I'm going to turn my chain over so I can see these bumps that run down the bottom of my chain. I'm going to ignore that first chain. Why am I ignoring that first chain, you might ask? Well, let's take a look at the chart. So we've just done these chains, and then we've got one little chain hanging out on the side here. That indicates that we ignore the first chain. The first chain. And then we've got some symbols. So we've got this plus sign, that's the symbol for single crochet. So we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So that's the first chain from the hook, second chain from the hook. In the next chain, we're going to put a double crochet. This, like, I'll show it in the purple, this sort of capital T with the diagonal slash through it, that's a symbol for a double crochet. And then we're just going to repeat that. Single in the next, double in the next, single in the next, double in the next, all the way down. In our last chain, we're gonna change color. So we will work through that when we get there. Okay, so I'm skipping that first chain. In my second chain, I'm going to make a single crochet. To make a single crochet, we insert our hook into the chain and pull the yarn back through. 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. To make a double crochet, I'm going to yarn over first. I like to hang on to that yarn over with my forefinger. Insert into the chain, pull a loop back through. Now I've got 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 of those loops, yarn over again, and pull through the next 2. That's my double crochet. The next chain gets a single crochet. So this one just has 2 loops to pull through. Next one gets a double crochet, which starts with a yarn over. Pull through 2 loops, pull through 2 loops. Next chain, single crochet. Next chain, double. So I'm going to continue this to the end. If you've counted your chains correctly, you will end with a double crochet. Okay, I have 2 chains left. So my second to last chain is going to get a single crochet. And then I'm going to start a double crochet in my last chain, but then I need to change colors. So we're going to yarn over, insert into that chain, and pull through a loop. We're going to yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. And now we're going to drop that. We're going to pick up our blue, drape it over our hook, and pull through those last 2 loops on our hook. And then with my blue, I'm going to chain 1. That's what I have so far. So let's look at the chart again. We're here. I've just chained, and now I need to repeat the same stitch pattern that I had before with a single crochet and then a double crochet. Don't get confused because this double crochet looks like it's sort of underneath the row. It's just indicating that these are different heights of stitches, and so because you're alternating, like your shorter stitch is going on top of your taller stitch and vice versa, you will get this zigzag look. This is all the same row. You're not doing any spikes or anything like that. It's just that theoretically your single crochet should be lower down in the row below than your double crochet. But it's a very simple stitch pattern repeat. We are just looking at a single crochet in our first stitch, double in our second. Single, double. Okay, all the way down. I'm at the end of my row. I have 2 stitches left. So my second to last stitch is going to be a single. And then you'll notice how this last stitch here in the yellow, which was a single crochet, is kind of slanted and looks a little funny, like it looks almost like it's not a stitch. But that's okay, because we're going to fill in the space here with a double. But I need to change color again. Grab one of my other yellow strings, lay it over my hook, and pull it through that last yarn over. Chain 1. Okay, and we're going to repeat that for 2 more rows. Now, you will need to cut your yarn at the end of each row. I luckily already have it cut, because I already did this. We all do stupid things. So you will need to cut your yarn at the end of each row. So we're going to end up with a lot of tails, and we will deal with that when we get to the border. For now, I'm going to do my 2 more rows, and then I'm going to add in my contrast color. On the square that they show, they're only showing one row of the contrast color. I suspect that I won't be quite square after I basically recreate this pattern, but I'm going to come back to you after I have done this contrast row, and I'll take you through how I figure out if I'm going to be square and what I'm going to do about it if I'm not going to be square. Okay, so I will meet you up. I'm going to repeat my yellow row and my blue row, and then I'm going to do a row of my peach, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so this is what it looks like after that first repeat. And I think we can all agree that even if I add this same amount again, it's not going to be square. So let's take a look and see what we're dealing with. So we've got approximately 4 inches from side to side, which means I want to have approximately 4 inches top to bottom. This that I have just crocheted is a little bit shy of 2 inches. What I need to do is add a blue, a yellow, a blue, and a yellow, and that would match up with this. So, but we're still going to be about 1 row shy. Oh, oops, we're off camera. Because if I need 4 inches, we're still going to be a little bit shy. So, a couple of options. I can just crochet it, and then we can measure. I can add another row of peach. So like it won't match this pattern, but could be okay. It depends. I suppose if you're doing this at home, it depends on how OCD you are. Do you need your pattern to be like symmetrical? It's a whole thing. What I might do actually, because I am a little bit OCD and I like symmetry, is I think I'll do a blue and do another peach and then do the reverse repeat. That should get me to 4 inches. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. Wish me luck. And once I have crocheted that, I will come back and we will measure. Okay, that is the pattern we discussed. So I'm at about 4 inches that way. It is close enough to 4 inches that way that I think we can proceed to the border. So hopefully that helped give you some tips on how you can manipulate these patterns to make them square in your own tension, because everyone's tension is different, everyone's yarn is different. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Before we start the border, let's take a look at all these ends, because yes, you can take the time and weave them all in, and normally I totally would. I am just feeling exceptionally lazy today. So this is what I'm gonna do. I am going to tie them in knots. What I do not want to do is pull my stitches when I tie the knots, but I do want to make sure those knots are secure. So I'm just taking 2 ends that are sort of next to each other, tying them in knots. As we crochet our border, we can go over these knots and make them disappear. Would I do this if I were making like a garment in this pattern? No, I would take the time and I would weave in all my ends, because A garment is going to get more wear and tear than this little whatever I make out of these squares. Like it's probably just going to be a little sampler blanket kind of a thing, right? That one's long. So I can crochet over all of those. I might weave them in a little bit just because, well, we already decided I'm a little bit OCD. So I have tied most of the ends. There are two on this side that I haven't touched. One is the tail from my starting chain, and I want to talk about that in a minute. The other one is where my last stitch was made, and they kind of relate to each other. So we need to figure out which is the right side and which is the wrong side, because we will start our border by working, we want to work in the right side as we go around our border. When you are looking at a piece of your work, and I am right-handed, so I'm going to lay it down so that my beginning tail is on the left-hand side. And then that means I am looking at the right side of my work. So in this case, my beginning tail and my ending tail are both on the same side. So I can basically fasten that off because I want to attach my border color yarn on the opposite side. If you are left-handed, your beginning tail is going to be on the right side, and that's going to be your right side. Right and right. Your beginning tail is going to be on the right-hand side, and then you're looking at the right side of your work. Your ending tail is also going to be on the right-hand side if you did the same combination as I have done. Okay, but we're looking at this side. I'll be honest, I kind of like the wrong side better. Huh, go figure. Okay, this might happen to you as well. This side of the work, the dark blue stitches give me a houndstooth pattern more than the light background, right? So this is my right side of the work. But my dark blue stitches are the ones that, to me, say houndstooth. The others don't really say houndstooth. When I flip it over, the dark blue stitches kind of disappear, and it's the other stitches that pop out and that they say houndstooth. So you know what? Forget everything I just said. I'm going to work on the wrong side of my work, which means I can switch color to my blue here. Chain one, turn, and I can start working my border that way. Sometimes your right side is your wrong side, and sometimes your wrong side is your right side. Who knew? So, refresher, the border instructions are in your booklet, pages 22 and 23. We've done this a few times now, so I'm not sure that you need me to completely do it. Basically, you're going to single crochet across. I will help you with all the tails. So I'm going to single crochet all the way to the corner. In that corner stitch, I am going to put a single crochet in the last stitch of the row, a chain one, and then we're going to single crochet in the first stitch down the side. I'll meet you at the corner. I am at the last stitch of my row, so it's going to get a single crochet. I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to single crochet right back into it to turn the corner. If it helps you, put a stitch marker in that chain one space. Okay, so now we got to fight all of these ends. And if you'll notice, that is a single crochet that we started the row with. That's a double crochet that we ended that row with. So I think, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If we aim for 1 single crochet at the end of a row that has a single crochet and 2 single crochets over a double crochet, we should have the right stitch count. So I've already got 1 in the yellow. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to come on, whoopsies, get my tails out of the way here. I'm going to pull my knot to one side. I'm going to come in on this side of the knot and do my single crochet. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to pull it to the other side. And do my single crochet. Now we just need 1 single crochet there. Here, so I'm just going to kind of shift my knot out of the way. Here I am trying to pick up 2 strands of yarn. There we go. This is a single, another double. Oops. Oh, that went into the wrong spot. So I need to come in to the bottom of my double crochet here, trying to grab 2 strands of yarn like I did in the previous one. And now we're into this single crochet spot. And now I'm right at the bottom, so I can put my last single crochet, which is basically the first of the next of the bottom, do a chain 1, and then go right back into that same stitch to start the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to finish this border, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the ends some more. And there we have it. So I just need to connect this, which is how I do my little invisible join. So I pull the hook out of, and the yarn out of the last stitch. I skip the first stitch of the round, and I thread my needle through the second stitch from front to back, and then I bring it down through the middle of the last stitch I worked and out the back, and then I can just sort of pull that, it's a faux stitch, until it kind of matches up, and then I can weave in my ends. Now my square is not feeling very square, but I think some blocking will help that. But we do have all these ends, so they are all tied off, and you can trim them back if you want, but I think I will probably take the time and weave these in a little bit. All right, so there we go. That is our houndstooth square from the Granny Square Deck stitches. Next week, granny stitches. So fun. I'm gonna do a granny stripe. Okay, I will see you then. Have a great day. Bye-bye.